What's happening, everybody? We welcome you back to another playoff edition of San Diego Prep Insider. Christian Pedersen, coach and Eastern League champ and rocker of style that Mike McDaniels is now copying. Tommy Morris is joining us. Bodie DeSilva.
Oh, yeah, I'm wearing the pants right now. You can't see it on camera, but I'm wearing the pants. So
I think you should all go back and rewatch the episode that we recently released with La Jolla High School, where mixed reviews from the players.
Well, it's not my fault that not everyone can be fashionable like me.
Well, I was going to say, they don't discredit it as much as they used to, given that NFL coach Mike McDaniels is copying Tommy's look. So maybe he really is onto something. But yeah, it's interesting. Growing public sentiment there. A lot of positive and negative flows for Tommy out all throughout the year. Bodie DeSilva is also joining us on behalf of Scorebook Live. Bodie, the official digital content provider of all things high school sports that you need. You guys need to go check out everything that he did from today's national or yesterday's, or depending, I don't know when you're even going to watch this, but as of November 8th, today's NLI signing day. Bodie, your arms were literally exhausted at the end of it from holding up your camera because there was so many kids. What'd you see there this morning?
Yeah, no, it was, well, one, we know how good baseball is, but just so many schools with so many different sports spread out, whether it's, we know the baseball, the basketball, the softball, the gymnastics, and name any sport. And there was someone there signing today. And I think the best sign, I mean, I've been going to this event for 10 years now, and probably the best turnout I've seen, felt like 300 athletes, maybe more. So.
Yes, I'm currently sifting through the signage. I think you guys are having mediocre handwriting. There is actually hope for the future generations based off the penmanship that I see from at least these couple hundred kids. Yeah, dive, big year for the ACC, picking up Wisconsin's and whatnots. And
was there any equestrian? I didn't hear any of that.
No equestrian this year. Let's see. A lot of baseball, a lot of softball.
A lot of Big Ten baseball players.
Yeah, Torrey Pines. Torrey Pines overwhelmingly, a lot of people there. Tommy,
water polo, soccer,
legends in the building. A lot of fun, man. So definitely go check out everything Bodie's got going on there. Check out everything Bodie's got going on all week long at Scorebook Live, or download the Scorebook Live app. All right, guys, 5AA. The teams that had buys last week of Holtville and Army Navy are back at it this week. Holtville's playing Maranatha Christian, Tri-City Christian. Army Navy Academy is the other game. So let's start with that Holtville Maranatha game. Tommy Morris.
Yeah, Holtville Maranatha. For Holtville, Alonzo Cuevas is 18 passing touchdowns so far this season. Normally a rushing team out there from the desert, but they're throwing the ball a lot more than they used to. For Maranatha, Carlson Drake, 450 rushing yards, 6 touchdowns. I like Holtville. This is generally with these desert teams, we forget how good they are till they come out here and beat up on some of us city folk. But I like Holtville, especially with a trip out there for Maranatha. That's not easy.
Bodie?
Yeah, I think it was really impressive what Maranatha pulled off last week. I know I did pick them, so I'll give myself some credit there. I had to go back and check after that. Was one of the ones Tommy and I were split on. But yeah, I think for Holtville, they're just balanced offensively. They got a couple good backs, and they've passed it really well this year. So I think they'll be too much, but I think Maranatha keeps this one close.
All right, let's move to the other side of the bracket, but stay with you, Bodie. Tri-City Christian and Army Navy Academy.
Yeah, for me, it's got to be Army Navy here. We know what they've got up front with some big guys. They've got some talented players, some two-way players. Was going through that with all the lists this week and some possible award stuff. So I think Army Navy Holtville, we get kind of chalk 1 versus 2 there in the championship.
Oh man, look at that. Bodie DeSilva giving us big time analysis like we get chalk. On to Division 5, Vincent Memorial and Hoover, El Cajon Valley, Sweetwater. I would say that any of these 4 teams, if you told me at the beginning of the season would wind up as champs, I'd be like, all right, sweet. That's a pretty solid result for D5. So I'm happy with this field. Curious what you think, though, starting with this Vincent Memorial Hoover game. Tommy Morris.
Sir Autry, probably the best player in this bracket. I'll say it again. I think I said it already, but I like Hoover here. Vincent Memorial, not a bad team. Again, always got to be scared of these desert teams because we don't get to see them that often. We got Vincent Memorial coming in from the Calexico area to play Hoover, but I do like Hoover in this one.
Bodie DeSilva.
Yeah, I was hoping Tommy was going to go Vincent Memorial there so I could go Hoover by myself. Maybe too much Hoover love here, but offensively, they're so good. You mentioned Sir Autry. Xavier Williams as a receiver has had a huge breakout season. So I think Hoover scores enough. I think this will be very close. I think this is very high scoring, but I think Hoover has just enough to get this one done.
All right, let's talk about El Cajon Valley and Sweetwater then. Bodie, let's stay with you. Your thoughts?
Yeah, both teams who had really impressive first round wins. No, kind of no upset alert for either of them there. I'll go with Sweetwater here. I think in round two, I think playing at home gives them a little bit of an edge there. This is not a game that happened during the year, but for Sweetwater started off 0-4, and they've been able to kind of get the season turned around and get to where they need to. So I like Sweetwater here at home.
Tommy Morris, your thoughts?
I hate agreeing with you, Bodie, but I'm going to have to again. So we have 3,888 rushing yards for Sweetwater. That is Cruz, Delgado, Wright, and also Cruz combined for most of those yards. They can beat you with a bunch of different dudes out of the backfield. It's very hard to stop a team that can just run down your throat. Sweetwater, and again, I like Hoover in this division, but Sweetwater is definitely a team that could take that the championship in a couple weeks.
Already going on to the championship bouts. I like it. Let me call back. I have too many windows open here. Bodie, we got your thoughts on El Cajon Valley Sweetwater, please?
Yes, I gave you Sweetwater there.
Yeah, okay. So then we are on to Division 4. Mount Miguel, Escondido is first game. Crawford, Santana is second game. Bonita Vista, Westview is third game. Olympian, Chula Vista is the fourth game. So Mount Miguel, Santana, Westview, Chula, all after their first round buys, are finally back in action. Let's start with Mount Miguel and Escondido. I think Mount Miguel is the team that is favored by a lot, or at least hyped by a lot, to be very impactful in this bracket, be able to make a deep playoff run, but it would have to start with getting through Escondido. Tommy Morris, your thoughts?
Escondido, a much improving program, so this is not a knock on them, but Mount Miguel saw them in person versus El Cap. This is a team that was very good in the beginning of the year, got better when some of the transfers got through and some injuries and stuff like that. Guys came back. So I think this is a very strong Mount Miguel team, not just for this division, but in the state potentially. I hate to go that far in the future, but Matthew Barden, got to give him a shout out to one of the more underrated quarterbacks in San Diego. Put up the same numbers last year, did it again this year, proving it wasn't a fluke. I like Mount Miguel here.
Bodie?
Yeah, I'm exactly the same there. Escondido, really impressive road win going out to Calexico last week. But for Mount Miguel, don't want to get too far ahead, but they are clearly the number one seed here for a reason. I don't see them tripping up here.
Let's go to Crawford and Santana. Tommy Morris, your thoughts?
I think this one could be Crawford. Mincello over 1,000 yards rushing. This is a team that can also throw it a tiny bit if they want to. 918 passing yards to their 1,800, rushing yards. So they prefer to keep it on the ground. That win against Mission Bay still sticks out of my mind. I don't know, if that's fair to put that on Santana, that I'm judging Santana and Mission Bay together. But I will pick Crawford in this one just because they have the potential to pull out a big win when they need it.
Bodie, your thoughts?
Yeah, I like Crawford as well. They technically didn't get the bye last week. They got through via forfeit, so they shouldn't be beat up. They should be rested.
The classic 2-0 victory.
Yeah, I think that'll benefit them here, and I will go Crawford on the road as well.
Does it go down 2-0 and you count that as if you're talking about average points allowed per game, does that go in the record book as a shutout?
Oh, that's a good question.
I'd have a hard time giving that out.
Huh. Well, technically, if it wasn't a game, then you wouldn't have given it points anyway. So, yes.
No, but if there wasn't a game, your average wouldn't be mathematically impacted.
Yeah.
Huh.
Take that one up with CIF headquarters. I don't know the answer.
Can we call Adam Paul?
Yeah, exactly.
Adam Paul might know the answer to that. He probably can find a season from Santana's from back in 1974. Where that happened.
Specifically, he would know that through the lens of Santana football history. Bonita Vista, Westview. Bodie, let's start with you.
Yeah, I'm going to go Bonita Vista here. Somewhat of an upset, I guess, just in seating wise. Westview's coming off that bye, obviously, but Bonita, I think them going out and beating Coronado last week, 35-0, kind of shows that they might be getting on track right at the right time. So I think Bonita goes on the road here and gets a huge win, gets them into the semifinals.
Tommy, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll take Mason Walsh, I'll take Amari Gomez, and I'll take the Wolverines here. I like Westview. I think this is a program that has done some good things this year compared to seasons in the past, and I think this is a team that has a very legitimate shot in this division to make some noise. I know we're getting way ahead of ourselves here, but I do like Westview.
Never a bad time to get ahead of ourselves. Tommy, let's start with you on Chula and Olympian.
I like Chula Vista here. I don't really have much more of a rationale than that. I like Chula Vista in this game.
Easy enough. Bodie DeSilva, your thoughts. Close us out on Division 4, please.
Yeah, I like Chula Vista here. Elijah Gillespie's had a really good year for them. 15 receiving touchdowns on only 40 catches. So that's kind of the guy clearly for Olympian to target here, but I think Chula Vista gets this done.
It is also a replay of a game from September 15th, which you mentioned with Chula Vista won by 19. So that was kind of my main deciding factor.
Yeah. Fair enough. On to Division 3. Mission Bay El Cap is the first game. SFC Grossmont is game number 2. La Jolla Country Day West Hills is game 3, and Imperial Fallbrook is game 4. So Mission Bay, Grossmont, West Hills, and Fallbrook are all back in action after a bye. Let's start with that first one. Mission Bay El Cap. Somehow they're going to have to figure out how to tell who is on what team based off of almost identical color schemes. Bodie, your thoughts?
Yeah, when these brackets came out, I have Mission Bay winning the whole thing. I'm not going to change up and go against that now. But I do think El Capitan has the pieces to make this one close. I think from Mission Bay's point of view, hopefully that loss to Crawford a couple weeks back kind of has gotten them straightened out and kind of reminded them that what they need to do and what the end goal is here. So I like Mission Bay to advance, but I think El Capitan can keep this one very close.
Tommy, your thoughts?
Division 3, I think, is one of the most evenly matched divisions that we're going to look at during this podcast, or just during the playoffs in general. I'm going to go with if you call it an upset, call it an upset with El Cap, Brant Barker to Chance Chapa. Combination we've been talking about all season. Barker's got 2,483 yards and 32 touchdowns so far this season. He's got a couple other receivers out there. He's going to throw the May. They have some weapons over there at El Cap, and like you said, very kind of clashing color schemes here with both having the winged yellow helmets, but El Cap's got the reflecting silver in there too, so, or whatever you want to call it. What is it, platinum?
Something like that. Plasma.
What is it? The guy in Halo. What's that silver color? Whatever. I'm gonna take El Cap in this one. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be high scoring, but I like the Vaqueros. Excuse me.
All right, SFC Grossmont. Tommy, let's stay with you.
SFC generally a rushing team, but they put up an uncharacteristic amount of passing numbers. Anthony Heidi, 1,700 yards, 172 yards and 2 touchdowns in their opening playoff game. Grossmont, though, Hudson Herbert, 30 passing touchdowns, 276.2 yards per game. It's going to be a weird game for SFC because I don't think they do well in shootouts, and I think this can turn into one, so I like Grossmont.
Bodie?
Yeah, I agree with that. For me, Cody Bigley from Grossmont has been one of the big breakout performers of the year. Baseball players out playing football now. 53 catches, over 1,000 yards, 13 touchdown receptions. I think that makes the difference, and I will go with Grossmont by 13 here.
Oh, we get a number. I'll go Grossmont 31-24.
That's such an unnecessarily odd time to just start doing the spreads. Is weight specifically for that game. Country Day West Hills. Bodie, give us the game, give us the spread.
Yeah, I had La Jolla Country Day when I wrote up my bracket breakdown as kind of the sleeper in this, so I think I got to stick with them here. They didn't have that bye, but they took care of Morse by 28 points at home. I think La Jolla Country Day, we saw Jaden Mangini down there signing his letter of intent today. Talented guy, kind of quarterback, but can really run the ball, is super physical. So I think that'll give West Hills some problems, and I'll go with the Tories here.
Tommy?
I'm going to agree, go with La Jolla Country Day. Jaden Mangini, you just mentioned him, over 300 total yards, 4 touchdowns last week against Morse. If Country Day seemed to, which they didn't, seem to have no problems with Morse, West Hills runs kind of a similar thing where they like to run the ball, take time off the clock, and try to make the most out of your possessions. If Country Day didn't, freeze up in that situation last week against Morse, I don't see it happening this week either. I like Country Day by 9 points. There
we go.
By 7.5.
Yeah, exactly.
Imperial Fallbrook, Tommy, close us out on D3.
Fallbrook, man, a lot of these D3 teams are very good. I like Fallbrook here. Chris Bosch, 1,300 yards and 15 touchdowns in 10 games. It feels like we've been talking about him forever. It's because we have. He's been a star there since his sophomore year. Give me Fallbrook, and again, maybe potentially a surprise, team to watch out for here in D3.
Bodie?
Yeah, I like Fallbrook here. I think Imperial, that not shockingly took down Valley Center by 2 points. We knew that was going to be close. Their previous game was overtime. But I think Fallbrook here, they had that stretch middle of the year against tough league games, lost 4 in a row, but they've rebounded well. And I think they get into the winning column and into the semifinals.
All right, let's head on to Division 2. We got Del Norte, Oceanside, Point Loma, Scripps Ranch, Central, La Jolla, Bishops, Rancho Bernardo. So Del Norte, Scripps, La Jolla, and RB are all back in action after getting a first round bye. Let's start with that Del Norte Oceanside game, which if you just told me in a vacuum, Del Norte Oceanside, I'm like, yeah, down for that to be a playoff game. That sounds like a great football game. Bodie, let's start with you.
Yeah, Oceanside was really impressive last week. I expected them to beat Steel Canyon. I didn't think it'd be 28-7, but I think Del Norte, coming off that loss to end the regular season against San Marcos, a game I was at, then they had the bye week. I think they're going to use that time to clean up some things and kind of get their offense back to where it needs to be. So I like Del Norte to hold serve at home and move into the semis.
Tommy?
Yeah, and you can quote me on this. I'll tell you definitively the team that wins this game is and that's what's going to happen. Sorry, did I freeze there?
No, you're good. You're good. Everyone
Okay.
heard.
You all got that?
Yes.
All right.
Everyone heard it. On to the next one. Bodie DeSilva, your thoughts on Point Loma, Scripps Ranch?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Point Loma here. They got by San Pasqual last week, despite being the 5 seed. They had to go on the road at San Pasqual, league champion, the whole tiebreaker coin flip thing there. But I like their ability to put up points, and I think they can get that done against Scripps Ranch. I think this is close. I think it's lower scoring than last week against San Pasqual, but I will go 27-23 here for Point Loma over Scripps Ranch.
Tommy, I know you're dealing with some audio issues right now, so keep it quick and concise. Point Loma, Scripps?
Yeah, I think for Point Loma. And then Scripps by a long time.
I love it. Can't get enough of it. Central Union and La Jolla. Tommy, let's start with you.
And that'll be the final score.
Love it. Bodie, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going to go with La Jolla here. When the brackets came out, I picked them to win it. Can't turn against that now. They are still in the bracket. So Central, an impressive
you keep acting like people are gonna go back and check week by week to make sure.
I have to. You go back to the tweet, you see some bookmarks. You never know.
Fair enough. All right, let's close out Division II. Bodie DeSilva, your thoughts on Bishop's Rancho Bernardo?
Yeah, a playoff game that you and I both saw from a couple of years, I think 2021 maybe. All these years are 22. All these years are blending together. But,
I was saying it was 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah, 21. Bishops drove down, hit it off the post, ended up losing. I think they get some redemption here. Not to say there's too many still starters left on that same team, but I like what I've seen from Bishops. Tyler Boyden can wreck the game defensively. I think they have enough offense to do what it takes and get a big win against Rancho Bernardo.
Yeah, the Bishops kicker.
My shot. That's what I got to do.
The Bishops kicker made the field goal against Brawley to win the game, so you would assume demons have been excised. Tommy, let me know if you got this cleared up. Your thoughts on Bishops Rancho Bernardo?
Well, I'm gonna make a prediction on what I think the uniforms will be. I think Bishops goes with the alternate gold helmet, white top, white short, white pants, and then I think Rancho Bernardo is going to go white helmet, gray, all grays.
Oh, the camo, yeah.
The camo grays, yeah. And I think the winner will be.
All right.
And that's who.
Nice. All right, that does it for Division II.
Sorry, I have my reception so bad. I don't know if you got it.
Hey, I'm hearing it.
I expect it to improve now.
All right, yeah.
I think. Yeah, Bodie's absolutely right. I think you're driving through a tunnel right there. Division I, Torrey Pines, Madison is game number 1. Saints LCC is game 2. Cathedral Catholic El Camino is number 3. San Marcos Mission Hills is number 4. So Torrey Pines, LCC, El Camino, Mission Hills, all back in action after a first round bye. Let's start with Torrey Pines and Madison. Your thoughts, Tommy Morris?
I mean, if you would have told me in the beginning of the year where Torrey Pines would be now, I would have told you were crazy, but you're not crazy, whoever you are. You're right. They did, kind of turn things around here. You got Sweeney with over 700 rushing yards. So I got to give him a shout out. This is a team that can play with anyone, bunch of tough kids who can grind it out. As far as Madison's concerned, this is going to be a tough test for them. But I do like Torrey Pines here. And but I do think it'll be close. I think it'll be somewhat low scoring. I think like 17-14, somewhere around there. But I like the Falcons.
Bodie DeSilva, your thoughts?
Yeah, Madison, the one team in this division to go on the road and win last week, but looking at the matchups, not too much of a surprise, I think, with those others that were winning. But shout out to Madison. They definitely did not play how they wanted in the Western League, and then to go to Mater Dei Catholic, shut them out. Very impressive. Much like Tommy said here, I think if either gets to 20, that's probably the winning team there. I think low scoring, and I'll go Torrey Pines 20-13 here.
Saints and LCC, that's the next matchup we got here in Division I. Bodie, let's stay with you.
Yeah, I think this might be the biggest toss-up for me in this whole bracket in the second round. Not a huge surprise there. It is 5 versus 4. I'll go with La Costa Canyon at home, just really because they're coming off the bye. I think they're going to be a little healthier, where Saints just doesn't have that huge roster and a lot of younger players on that roster right now. But they're coming. We know the next couple of years what Saints will have on that roster. But I'll go La Costa 21-20 to get past.
Oh my goodness. Tommy, your thoughts?
Yeah, so common opponents. They're both 3-0, so kind of hard to judge it there. But I do think that Saints has looked better against those common opponents. I'm going to go with, I guess, an upset, you would call it. I don't know what you want to call it. Call us an upset?
Call it an upset.
All right, whatever I call it. Saints over LCC, I think, by a touchdown, but this will be a close one.
Well, let's stay with we'll go with the next game that could potentially be an upset, depending on who you believe in the strength of schedule conversation or not. Tommy, you got Cathedral upsetting El Camino, or what do you see here?
Yes, I do. I think Cathedral is. We've seen this now for a couple of years, where their record is artificially low based off how hard their schedule is, and I know you just mentioned it. So I like Cathedral here. Again, I don't know if to call it an upset, but whatever you want to call it, but I think Cathedral pulls this thing off.
You deem it an upset per my book. Bodie, your thoughts?
Yeah, I've gone back and forth on this one. I'll go El Camino. I think they will get enough done offensively. Quarterback Carson Howard's had a very good year, improved a lot from junior year, so I think that will get them enough points. But yeah, I'm going to go 17-14 here. El Camino getting this one done.
Finally, I'll go 21-17. Cathedral. So we have the same score, except for Cathedral scores one more touchdown at the end, so I can rub it in Bodie's face.
Why not go with like a scoregami of 17-9 or something like that?
El Camino, I feel like, always gets at something that ends with 9 in different ones. So
there you go, 19-29. San Marcos, Mission Hills. We got the Discovery Bowl in the playoffs, which in and of itself feels like this is going to be a pretty special night to be a part of this game. Bodie, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think so. This is the one game in the second round that is not Avocado versus Western League like those first 3. So big league bragging rights on the line. And those other 3, I think, so this was 35-7 when they played earlier in the year. San Marcos was missing quarterback Crete Makahele. That San Marcos defense has been really good at the right time. I will go San Marcos here to pull this big upset on the road. And I'm going to go San Marcos here 24-20.
I
can dig it. Tommy?
So congrats to Mission Hills.
Yeah, exactly. I will say this. I think it will be close, but you talk about quarterbacks. Hunt over at Mission Hills might be one of the best guys nobody's talking about. 16 touchdown passes this season. They don't throw it as much as everybody else does, but I think that he's one of the best sophomores in the county. Having Crete back is very helpful for San Marcos. I think it'll be close. I think, let me get 28-21.
There you go, folks. So congratulations to everybody other than the teams that we picked. Says. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. If you want to check out the open division, you can jump over to the other video we got as a standalone one. You're not going to be able to miss it. You got to go hear what Tommy is saying about those games.
And pants.
Does have good cell reception in all of those games. I promise you, there is nothing cutting out in any of that. And if you don't get the joke, you don't get the joke. It's okay. You'll learn it eventually. You'll understand who and what we are as a show. Guys, thank you very much for joining us. Like we said at the start, go check out everything that Bodie's got going at Scorebook Live or on the SBLive Sports app, from NLI signings to weekly Power 25 rankings to all the playoff coverage and everything in between. They've got you covered for everything. Tommy, good luck. Go get them. And we'll talk to you guys next week.